This video is brought to you in part by Backyard Wrestling History. Go and subscribe to their channel.
Now let me ask you this, because you said you're not an AEW fan. I'm not an AEW fan. I would like to hear why. Maybe we have this in common.
Okay, so honestly, and I doubt we have this in common, but honestly, I just don't know where to go to watch it. And for the most part, I don't have cable.
Like Max now.
Yeah, and I don't have that either. I have Netflix, which, by the way, shout out to my baby mama because she pays for my Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. So and for the longest time, I also had Hulu, which while AEW is on there.
Yeah.
I watched a few episodes here and there, but I really wasn't drawn to it because it was more so for me, it just looked more like a nostalgic act than it was actually, wrestling. So you hear you go to AEW, you tune in, and what do you see? You got Jim Ross at commentary with Taz. You got you got wrestlers like the guy who formerly known as Jack Swagger. You got the guy from New Japan Pro Wrestling. I can't remember his name. You got Kenny Omega. You got Edge and Christian. Excuse me, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. Cope and Christian Cage.
Yeah, now it's just Cope.
Yeah, Cope and Christian Cage. The Hardy Boys. Daniel Bryan. You have the list goes on. It's just like you're seeing guys who, while I do enjoy their work, I was seeing it at the other place, and now they're all just here, and it's a lot of older guys too. And it's like, I do like to see new up and coming in development, and I just don't see that with AEW.
Okay. You want to know why I don't like AEW?
Of course I do.
Okay.
This is the point.
So first of all, I'm glad AEW exists.
Yeah.
Competition is a good thing.
Yes.
Giving people places to work is a good thing.
Yes.
More power to AEW.
Yes.
I don't necessarily like the style of the product they put out because it seems like every match is super kick dive, neck bump on the apron, Canadian Destroyer, pop up, hit your own Canadian Destroyer, pop up and do the fight stance. It's like there's no psychology in anything. I love flippy dippy shit. But I love flippy dippy shit when there's psychology and there's storytelling and it matters. And when you're just popping up after every flippy dippy move to hit your own flippy dippy move, none of those flippy dippy moves mean anything.
Yeah.
So I'm not a huge fan of that. And then the whole thing with how they botched Punk. The whole thing with CM
goodness,
Punk. They have one of the biggest stars in wrestling. And there's people on the roster sabotaging him and undermining him, and you have a boss who refuses to be a boss, and then things get out of hand. It's like when you have Adam Page in an interview say, I don't need to take advice from legends. I'm doing pretty good. My best friends run the company and I'm champion. First of all, you're a fucking idiot. And then you're gonna let that guy go off script on CM Punk on live TV and then there's no repercussions? Really?
Yeah, that
CM Punk's your golden goose. How do you not look out for your golden goose?
That
and then you have people like, we don't know if it was the Young Bucks. We had some people spreading rumors that Punk was the reason Cabana wasn't on TV, even though Cabana wasn't on TV for 8 months before CM Punk got there. And it's like, how do you not nip that in the bud? And it's just, how do you botch that whole thing with CM Punk? He's your biggest draw. And you just let people on your roster act immature and selfish and undermine him and sabotage him? I can't.
I can't.
The whole fucking thing with Jungle Boy, with Jack Perry.
Yeah, that was just ridiculous.
The best part is when CM Punk did that interview with Ariel Helwani and he explained what happened.
Yeah.
And then Tony Khan showed the security footage and it played out exactly like CM Punk said.
Right.
He told no lies.
It's like, and it's like when you screw over a guy like CM Punk, you're basically asking to fail.
Well, I saw somebody, they took the clip from his interview with Ariel Helwani where he explained what happened backstage with Jungle Boy. Right. And then underneath it, they put the actual security footage that Tony Khan aired. And then one of the comments was like, wow, it lines up like beat for beat.
Yeah.
And then the reply to that was, yeah, that's usually how the truth works.
That's usually how the truth works. Yeah.
So I will say this much, man. Like I get the critique, but my thing is like, I missed the whole Punk being there bit because I too didn't have a way to watch AEW until like honestly, like all the stuff I've seen of Kenny Omega has been things like on YouTube. It's been you know, or a Vimeo or stuff like that, right? For example, the Young Bucks, same thing with the Young Bucks, I'm also a fan of. And I've seen me and you went to a pay-per-view that a friend was hosting a party. And I remember that pay-per-view, it was All In, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's All In. And then like, and then I think was it Full? I can't remember the pay-per-view where this happened, but it was like MJF had essentially won AEW's version of Money in the Bank, and he was masked up though. No one knew it was him. And then at the end of the proceedings, you know, CM Punk after his match, MJF comes out and he's like, "Deal with the devil." No. Setting up this like he's gonna come for Punk's title, which I was like, "Ooh shit." And then like that whole stretch, the politics of what happened and went down, I was unable to watch AEW during that time. So, and a lot of Punk's run I haven't seen. You know what I mean? So I really don't know how good of a wrestler he is. I get the sense that he's well beloved.
So here's what's great about Punk. He's been in WWE this whole year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He got injured in the Royal Rumble last year.
Yeah, he did.
He was out for most of the year. Still had one of the top feuds of the year with Drew McIntyre. Couldn't wrestle. Had one of the best feuds of the year.
That moment at WrestleMania, I think, is what sealed it for me. When he did the whole leg sweep on Drew McIntyre after he wins the title.
Laid him out with the brace.
And then he gets cashed in on.
Yeah, Damian Priest won.
Just after winning the title.
But, I mean, even their promos were great. Because
the
like,
promos
they
were
weren't holding back. And Drew McIntyre's like, you don't drink, you don't do drugs, you don't smoke, but you spend all your time in rehab.
Yeah.
You know, fucking great line.
Right.
And what's a trip is like, when he was in AEW, you would hear stories about like how the young guys don't want to take advice from the older guys. They think they know everything. People were calling CM Punk a cancer.
Yeah.
But then it was in WWE, it's the opposite. Everyone's like, this guy's amazing. This guy's great. We're glad to have him.
But they still ran the storyline of him being a cancer, because Drew McIntyre said it himself a few times. But as part of the story rather than being it true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And rather than doing it on some stupid YouTube show, you did it in a way where you could sell some tickets, make some money off of it.
I find it ironic that one of the things I remember when we were talking about CM Punk's history was that CM Punk would often buck up against like the establishment.
Yeah.
And the problem with AEW is now that CM Punk is on the other, he is the establishment now, and the younger talent is bucking up against him. And right or wrong, maybe it's just kind of natural for some of younger people to like sort of stupidly bump up against their older betters. And we got to kind of learn to like listen to what folks have to say. Because my critique on CM Punk, and I'm going to keep that same energy, I don't think Adam Page was being fair with Punk, because Punk's done this longer than him, been more successful than him. There's things to learn. And even if you feel like, and this is also reflected on Punk too, because that Tony Atlas thing and the Freebirds thing, and CM Punk was like, well, why should we listen to you? My attitude is, even if you disagree with the person they've sent to be your teacher, disagree respectfully. Be a little humble about it.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of cool that Punk's on the other side of that now, where it's like, hey, you're not listening to my experience, motherfucker. Like, I think it's kind of cool.
Did you see the interview he did with Ariel Helwani?
No.
Okay. So he talked about the issue he had with Jungle Boy, with Jack Perry, right? Mm-hmm. Where Jack Perry wanted to do a spot where he like threw somebody through the windshield of a rental car. And CM Punk is like, no. That's stupid. That's real glass. You're going to get hurt for real. And then, what, you're going to bring the rental car back with no windshield? Then the rental car company doesn't want to rent cars to wrestlers no more, and you fuck over all the boys. Like, if you're going to do that on a pay-per-view, or do that on Dynamite, and do it in a way where we can gimmick the fucking car so you're not slicing yourself up with real glass for no reason.
Yeah.
And then Jack Perry had a fucking boo-boo face. and was mad that CM Punk told him, no, you can't use real glass.
Yeah.
And then on the fucking the All In at Wembley, fucking did the spot anyway, and then like looked in the camera and went, "Oh, cry me a river, it's real glass," like mocking CM Punk like live on pay-per-view. And it's like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, I totally agree with Punk in that case. It's like,
it's something you brought up.
And I don't disagree. I just think it's kind of, I just said, I think you should listen to your elders And even if you disagree, and maybe your elders can sometimes be wrong, but at least, you know, show some respect.
Yeah.
And that guy was clearly disrespectful.
Yeah.
Now, furthermore, you know, I've been watching AEW recently because I have a show with Evan, you know, called Sicko Mode on YouTube. And we're, 3 episodes deep. And like, I've been able to watch it on Max and consistently for the last 3 weeks. And I know it's like a toe in the water compared to like the 2 or 3 years that they've been running. But from what I have seen, like the psychology you're describing, you know, hadn't really been there in the shows that I've been watching. And maybe it's because they understand that because they have this new debut, they're going a different direction. It's still a lot of the athleticism and the flippy dippy things that like you and I both like, but I feel like they look more like competitive matches. And for further review on those episodes, you can check that, you know, you can check out our stuff. But not to give too much away, but I will say I'm enjoying the product so far, and it is very story driven, both in and out of the ring, and it is a little bit more sports driven as well. That's one thing I really like, this notion of like, no, we're gonna have a tournament. No, we're gonna have, because the E for years didn't even have a traditional King of the Ring.
Right.
They went, you know, I know they're a bit different now, but like, you know, and I'm not one to hold a grudge, but that's why I like AEW, is the presentation just seems to be just a perfect blend of like sports and storytelling.
And you know what? And I'm glad they're there. Because look, as bad as WCW was in 2000, it's better than WCW in 2002, because there was no WCW.
There was no WCW in 2002, yeah.
Right.
Thank you for watching this clip. Stay tuned for further clips, and if you missed the last one, go check it out. Till then, go check out Backyard Wrestling History, and as a reminder that kindness is always free, and I'm cheap as fuck. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, stay mad, my happy.